Welcome to the Buy Box Bandits podcast.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Buy Box Bandits podcast, episode 172. We all just got home from Miami Sellers Conference. I basically live at Miami Sellers Conference, but a couple days ago, these guys got home from Miami Sellers Conference and such. So we want to make a recap of Miami Sellers Conference as well as ASD in Las Vegas, which these guys were just at, all three of them. I was at in August. We'll all be back to in August, and just Amazon seller events in general and how beneficial a thing they should be and if they make sense, how they work, etc. So prior to us hopping into it, Sawyer and Corey, welcome back to the show. And you guys want to both introduce yourselves?
Yeah, for
Sawyer,
sure.
You go first.
Yep. So my name's Dylan Sawyer. Been doing Amazon for about 3 years, doing OA for the first two, mainly shoes, high volume. And in the last year, I've transitioned into wholesale. So going to ASD and meeting new suppliers at trade shows, that's been a big part of that. And yeah, Corey.
Yeah, so guys, my name's Corey Ganim. I've been selling on Amazon. May will be 7 years for me. And I've been doing wholesale since January of 2019. I'd say my business is probably 80% buying from distributors, 20% brand direct. And I really enjoy going to trade shows, networking with other sellers, networking with suppliers. And I think we're going to be going into that topic on this episode. So I'm looking forward to it.
Corey, so you did the Vegas to Miami tour, just like I did. How exhausted were you at the end of that?
I mean, I've been home for like a week and a half, and I feel like it took me till like a couple of days ago to bounce back. I mean,
Corey was smart.
Too.
He took a pit stop in back at home, but you went.
No. I went straight.
Oh,
there
you did?
Too. Yeah.
Oh,
I was super tired, man. Especially I got strep like the day I landed in Vegas.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
that was rough, man. It was hard to make it through Vegas, but by the time I got
nice
Miami,
thing is you get nicely seed oil detoxed in Miami. You know, I got you out there sunbathing day one. We're going on the walks on the key, etc. So okay, just kind of laying the groundwork. So what's the difference in terms like the actual event structure and such between ASD and MSC?
So when it comes to ASD, right, it starts usually technically it starts on a Sunday and goes through Wednesday. Now, bigger buyers are coming through on Fridays and Saturdays to buy early. But the idea is the show starts around 9 a.m. each day. It goes until, I think, officially until 6 p.m. each night. And the ASD is a little unique compared to other trade shows. It's basically just like a big open market. There's 3 different halls. There's hundreds, if not a couple thousand vendors in total. And you're pretty much going from vendor to vendor, booth to booth, buying products. You can place purchase orders there on the spot, and you're networking with vendors and kind of introducing yourself and building rapport. Whereas, I mean, Miami Sellers, it's just a seller event, right? Everybody there's an Amazon seller. There's no suppliers there. But that's where you really build your relationships with other sellers, and that's where you meet your homies that you're talking to on Zoom in the group text and kind of growing your business that way.
Yeah, it's essentially like a family reunion, Miami Sellers Conference. Meanwhile, you're trying to ASD is different, obviously, because you're trying to buy product and such, basically. So like I obviously went to ASD in August and such. So if you're on the West Coast, that's definitely something you should do. They do it twice. So they do it in March. The March is, earlier this month.
February, March, something like
that. Yeah,
February,
exactly.
August.
Yeah, right. And then the other one being in August. August one's bigger, according to you guys, right?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah,
like we at the Seller Amp event, I think over 100 people showed up, and
that was electric. Yeah.
I mean,
who hosted the one the night before too? That was like
Amazon Litz is really good too. Yeah. Both of those were really, really good, and that's about. I think I did 4 nights in Vegas last time. I think 2 is probably ideal.
Four is
Four is
a
lot.
Sweet spot. Any more than 2, you're
dude. Honestly, my ideal scenario is fly in on Saturday afternoon, Friday night or Saturday night, stay there Sunday, and leave like Monday evening, in and out.
That's what I might do next time.
Because so for my flight to August is completely unrelated. I got on the plane in Miami at like 5:30, and I didn't get off until 4:30 Eastern time a.m. Right, and then I went to the wrong hotel in Vegas too because it was delayed on both ends because it was like it was brutal and such. But yeah, so ASD is like buying product. Miami's like hanging out with the homies basically. What was your guys' experience like specifically at ASD? Like, where's your time going and such? What does it actually look like, and who should be interested in that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so I guess I'll touch on that first. So I am a psycho, and I flew in, I think, Friday night. I hit the show at, we walked in the door at maybe 9:30, 10 a.m. on Saturday.
Yeah.
And And you and I went straight to the booth of one of our existing suppliers together, sat down with our reps. They showed us a couple of products that they had show specials on, and we ended up placing an order for, I think it was like 70 or 72K combined between the two of us within like literally 45 minutes of being at the show, right? And that's kind of the idea, is you want to start with the existing vendors that you're already doing business with, if you are already doing business with some vendors there. And then if you're not, you just want to have an idea in mind of what you're looking to buy, and you're going booth to booth looking for specific brands, specific products. The sellers that don't get an ROI out of ASD are the ones that are just like haphazardly running around, looking for a good opportunity to fall into their lap, calling themselves an Amazon seller, and just generally being unfocused. I mean, would you agree?
Oh yeah, 100%. Most of the time, if it's your first time at like a trade show or ASD type event, it's going to be a little bit overwhelming. Like the first time I went to ASD in March of last year, I maybe spent 3K. The show after that, I spent like 70, 80K. So it's the type of thing where you kind of have to learn the process. So for us, we were mainly just doubling down with the suppliers that we already had, like Corey said, doing a bunch of orders with them. And the other stuff we were looking for is very specific. So we already spent a shit ton of money on stuff for Amazon. So I was looking to switch it up a little bit and buy some toys and different like household items for Walmart. So I approached a couple different distributors and placed orders for that as well.
I mean, you just earned so much authentication walking up, and I watched Corey do this. Walk up to a brand and like, hey, I'm looking for this particular SKU. Typically buy it around this price. Can you match that or beat that? We need to onboard another 4,000 or 5,000 units today. If it's not going to be from you, it's going to be from someone else who's going to give me that price, right? So you just earn so much validation immediately, right? Even if you've never met that sales rep, you establish that trust because it just comes across with so much more depth than someone that's like, what do you have? I'm looking to buy some stuff. Way different.
It's the positioning, man, you know?
Yeah.
Just like we were talking about in yesterday's episode with the Operation AMZ guys.
Oh, big time. Corey,
Well, I tweeted this like it was a couple of days after the show because I was standing at the booth of one of my suppliers. This is a supplier that I met at ASD last year, one of our bigger suppliers who do business with them all the time. And I'm sitting there talking to the owner, and like I swear to God, I can't make this up. This is exactly how it went down. I'm sitting here talking to this guy, and this random dude just walks up to the booth, and he's like, "Hey man," and like just interrupts our conversation. "Hey man, what do you have that I can sell on Amazon?" And the owner, like, he's talking to me. He kind of just like freezes for a second, and he like looks at the guy, and he's like, "What?" He's like, "What?" He basically, and he's like, well, "Yeah, like, what do you have that I can sell on Amazon?" He's like, "Well, I got plenty of stuff that you can sell on Amazon, but why the hell would I sell it to you?" He's like, who are you? Like, what do you want? I don't know anything about you. I'm talking to a customer, right?" And the guy, like, he kind of started to get snippy with him. And he's like, "Listen, man, like, you're expecting a good deal to fall into your lap. I don't even know who you are. Like, I don't even know what you want. So how can I help you?" Right? And it's just, the bar is kind of low because unfortunately there's a lot of that going on. And it's the guys that, like you said, Garrett, it's like, you know exactly what you want because you've bought it before and you have an idea of the price that you're willing to pay. So when you're very specific about that, suppliers know immediately that you're serious because they're just trying to filter who's going to waste their time and who's actually a serious buyer.
Yeah, it's the same thing with any type of cold outreach to get that stuff. Like, I think there's a big opportunity, even just like any small OA brand, especially if they're offering discounts on their website, like hit them up immediately and ask to buy wholesale, right? Any brand with like less than 50 SKUs. I'm actually curious, you guys, even maybe like, can you search on Keep a Product Finder for brands with a certain amount of listings? That would be gangster if you get a certain amount of.
You could definitely do it on Smart Scout, but I don't think you can Keep a Product
on
Finder.
KPF. You probably can somewhere. There's dude. Another fire KPF filter I found this week was for OA specifically was searching items with 0 to 3 FBA sellers, but 5+ FBM sellers. That is so fire.
Oh yeah.
Just you get all the recency, right? You get all the recency, and because it's clearly been good recently if people are currently actively, FBMing it.
Listening to Miles spit on Keep a Product Finder just makes me feel like such a proud dad. I've trained him so well over the years.
That's dude. I didn't even know how to use that like a year ago, and stuff.
Me neither.
And then the cool part about ASD, right? So during the day, you're going to the trade show. You're recognizing people from the internet. If you're smart, people are recognizing you. You're hanging out with from the group chats, from Discords, etc. But at night, you can gamble, or you can go to like Amazon seller event space. So can you talk about some of the ones you guys went to this time?
Yeah.
Yes.
So sorry, I went to the Amazon Lit meetup. That was pretty much the only meetup I went to. I was sick the day that Corey, you had the Cosmo meetup, right? I was sick that day. So just the Amazon Lit meetup, there's like well over 100 people there, really good conversations, talked with Eric a little bit, Sebastian a little bit, and connected with a lot of homies that I knew from online. And this time around, I had much more people approaching me. So from me putting my face out there and showing off everything, starting the podcast and everything, there's a lot more people who recognize me and approach me like, yo, what's up, man? Nice to meet you. Wanted to introduce myself. So that's pretty cool to experience. But it's so important to go to those meetups after. Like you 100% have to if you're going to be going to ASD.
But like there's so much, like you can't overstate the value of those conversations. You're meeting a lot of these people over the course of the year, but that's when it really kind of like puts a stamp on those sorts of things, on the relationships, right? I've heard from numerous people after, whether it be after Miami or after Vegas, about money being exchanged, deals happening, partnerships being created at those exact events, right? Because that's where those sorts of really, really in-depth conversations happen, right? Because you can actually like vibe someone out, really get the sense of like who they are and like their personality in person as opposed to online.
Yeah, and when it's in person, it compresses, but the way you do that online is you consistently post and exist and you let people get to know you parasocially. It's called building a parasocial relationship where, some of you guys listen to this, I don't yet know you, but you might feel like you know me a little bit, right? And that's because I consistently show up, I do my best to give value and such, right? And that's the nice part is you can get that in person too and such, and it compresses a ton. But here's the key. What does someone do right after they meet you in person? All right, so okay, what's your Twitter? What's your Instagram? If they go to your profile and there's
It's
nothing
an online
about Amazon
resume,
there,
immediate online
you
resume.
immediately are qualified as either very serious about Amazon or not serious at all, based on honestly just kind of like the effort you're putting into it and such, which is the same for anything, but it's especially true with Amazon. So obviously ASD, Las Vegas, so West Coast people, it's a great thing to go to. Garrett, you're going in August, I assume too?
Yep.
Sweet. Okay, so we're all four of us will be there. In August, you guys will hear from us in terms of like a seller amp meetup and such. That's primarily looking to buy wholesale products. It's also free too, which is great. As well as long as you sign up IRL or in advance and such. Okay, so now you boys fly to Miami the next week, hang out with Uncle Flips at the crib and such. So Miami Sellers Conference. I remember Garrett and I actually went to the first ever one, which was in 2021. We've actually had Avery and Taylor. They're really good friends on a bunch of times, and such. And so Corey,
4 or
that
5
was
years ago.
it was 2021. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like almost 3. It's like 2.5, 3. Yeah. That was the first one. It was like, I think there were like 50 people there total. This time was probably like over 200, which is pretty cool. Corey, that was your first kind of introduction to meeting people IRL, right? Last year?
Yeah, last year, because I think I tweeted for the first time. It was like January 13th of like
Something like that.
2023.
Yeah.
And then I heard, like, obviously that's when I got in touch with you and Garrett. And then you guys are like, oh, you got to come to Miami Sellers. You got to come to Miami Sellers. I'm like, okay, well, I haven't been to Miami. I don't really know anybody down there, but like, sure. So yeah, flew down there, met a lot of people face to face that I'd been seeing on Twitter since I started my journey there, and then got invited back there to speak this year, which was really cool. And that was kind of my goal when I was there last year. I was like, damn, it'd be cool to be on that stage. And Miles, you were like, oh, like you'll be speaking there next year 100% if you keep doing what you're doing. So it was a cool full circle moment. And also this year to be like sitting on a panel with Larry Labarsky, right? Watch Me Amazon, Eric from Amazon Lit, Javier, who's also a stud.
That's a great guy there.
Yeah, he's the man. And then like Sawyer was on that panel as well. Michaela was on that panel.
Thousand ASINs.
Taj was there.
On
Josh.
that too. So really, really good crew. Like it was cool to be able to share the stage with some of those guys.
Yeah, and so Miami Sellers Conference is like presentations, basically. Presentations and hanging out the whole time. It's a place you go to learn, not a place you go to necessarily buy product and such. So it's basically like, for example, like Amazon Lit spoke, and then obviously Avery Romer spoke. I did a talk with Warner, and then I also did a panel with some of my coaching guys, the Rookie of the Year panel, which was pretty lit as well. Oh my God, some of my stallions.
I was waiting for the.
Yeah, so we did the Buy Box Bandits panel as well. And such. And so what did you guys specifically, like, what do you guys think was better about this year's Miami Sellers Conference?
So it was actually my first time at Miami Seller Conference. So it was just kind of like a first time introduction to that. I'd been to Amazon United in August of last year, but that's a kind of a different event. That's more wholesale focused. This is more focused on everything. It was on the panel. I'll let Corey finish that.
So I feel like
I wasn't there. So I can't really like.
Fair enough.
Well, so
He
I,
came out guns blazing, and he was like,
location.
"I don't
Didn't
actually
really
know where
have
I'm
anything
going with
else to
this."
say.
Was really good this year. Being in Brickell was so much nicer than being on South Beach and going all
Definitely.
over the place.
well, definitely, and also too, like last year, I don't know if you guys remember how the lunch was set up, but it's like people were in different rooms, and some of the rooms were super small, which was good in one sense that like it was more intimate. But like this year, it was one big kind of dining room area, and you just got like it was just really good energy in the lunch portion that we kind of carried into the sessions that were the
Your
second half
big
of the day.
takeaway was the lunch. That was your big
Well, no, I'm
takeaway.
saying the fact that everybody was in more of like a big open space. I feel like it was more
Yeah.
conducive to networking than it was last year.
I do
Yeah.
think having it spread out across an entire weekend is huge, right? Because it
Definitely.
essentially
That was way
becomes
better too. It
like
was
2.5
still really rough.
days.
Yeah,
Because you
yeah.
have the Friday night networking, which is kind of where
That's the
everything
vibe.
started.
That's like the best. That's my favorite part. The 3 times.
Yeah.
That was a lot of
Yeah.
fun, yeah.
And then Saturday, which is a morning to night affair, and then obviously Sunday you had more content. Miles, did you like how they split up into the different panel rooms? I kind of
Yeah,
liked
I
it
thought
better.
that
I
was
like that.
well, it's better. It's more time efficient too. It was kind of funny, like how like 10 people went to the book one. I like,
Yeah.
but I mean, that's, it's a lesson in progression. It shows, it's good
Yeah.
that people are doing OA wholesale, bigger opportunities, and such. But yeah, no, I did like that. It was obviously like ideally would we have been on the big stage with the most?
Yeah.
Yes, but the good part is that most people there were interested in doing the most scalable opportunity, which is wholesale, right? So it's like, all right, that completely makes sense, and that is a worthy justification of doing that and such. But no, I thought that was good. And then I thought in general, like a lot of the speakers I watched, like Reezy's thing on the Amazon influencer program was
That was
dope.
cool, yeah.
If you're listening to this and you're not afraid to get on camera, which unfortunately is like essentially no one. But it's a great way to make money. You should
Yeah.
definitely look into that. Hopefully Reezy posts his talk too, with that and such. But yeah, it's just a great place to hang out. Like it's like super fun seeing people you never see super often and such. And then it's also a great place for a lot of people who is their first time meeting Amazon people in person, and such. And everything. This is a great place for them to make friends and such too. And it just overall kind of like speaks true to my thesis that this is a team sport, right? And you need to meet, build, and mastermind with as many people as possible, right? Otherwise, your journey will be substantially harder.
Well, and I was surprised at how many people I met that were just very new to Amazon, right? Like you would think that people that are paying to be at a conference of Amazon sellers are all super experienced or they've all, at least have some sort of experience under their belt. But I met a lot of people who were in month 1 or month 2 or month 3 or actually just considering starting selling on Amazon, right? So that was really cool. And it was similar at AMZ United last year too. There are a lot of brand new sellers that showed up there, which is cool. I think it shows that our industry is approachable and that people kind of want to get into the mix.
Well, it's
One thing
also
too-
every year it's kind of cool because you see like the rookies come out, right? Because obviously like our small circle, our small corner of the internet kind of like gains new players every year,
Yeah.
right? So
Mhm.
this past year we had like the Parker body, we have like his entire like
Aaron.
0 day,
Yeah, obviously. I
all
mean,
those kind of come out of the woodwork, and then
those
that's like
guys-
their coming out party. So like next
Yeah.
in the Miami event, those will be the vets, and then we'll have like a new rookie.
and that's what's crazy though, man, is like some of those dudes that are going to be at ASD, they still haven't even watched their first YouTube video. Like they still.
Yeah.
Oh, I met multiple
Yeah.
people at ASD. They were like, I don't do wholesale. Like I just started on Amazon, but I flew out here to Vegas, and I'm just like, gotta see what happens.
There's so much beauty in that, though.
Yeah, I love it.
Exposing themselves to the chance to find the right, partner to work with or find the right friend to have and such and right. But yeah, that's the cool part though, is like a lot of those people that are going to be in, coming on the podcast later this year that are going to figure it out really quick. They might have not even found the space yet. Right. And that shows that clearly it's not the issue of the information not being out there, considering Max and Peter, etc. They did really, really, really quick. It's just finding it and putting it into practice as quick as possible, getting the infrastructure in place to get notified of stuff, and everything, which is pretty cool. Too.
Yeah.
Who was your guys' favorite talk?
I thought Amazon Lits was really good. It was right at the beginning. Everyone was sitting in there. And I thought that they were going to give like their normal presentation, but it was completely different.
Which is great. Yeah, but they were super
It was
tactical,
super
which I thought was
applicable,
better.
yeah.
I liked it
Yeah,
better.
it was super deep dive on like removal order fees, storage fees, all that type of stuff.
Sell-through-
It was
sell-through
really
stuff.
eye-opening to see like how expensive some of those fees are, because most people in that room definitely did not know that.
Yeah, what about
I'd
you,
say
Corey?
my favorite was probably the first wholesale panel. So I didn't sit on that one,
Yep.
but just hearing like guys like Thousand Asins and Larry in particular. So Larry's the guy that got me into wholesale back in late 2018. That's how I discovered it, was watching his videos. And he did a really good job of like, he was the main one answering a lot of the questions. And so just kind of seeing him in action, someone who's like a 10-year vet at this point, like there was no question that was asked that he didn't have an answer to. And it was just really cool to kind of hear his perspective on a lot of just different topics related to wholesale.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
one-
cool that he came out too.
One thing I wanted to add about the wholesale panel, there's a lot of higher level questions. There's a lot of people who are asking about like, how do I manage a warehouse?
Yeah.
Where do I go to find a buyer or a manager or different high level positions like that, which I was kind of surprised to see, because like there's a lot of people on that new side of the spectrum where they haven't even started their account yet. And then you have people who are running prep centers with 30 clients asking how to manage them.
So I didn't listen to every single talk, but I honestly do believe one of the more valuable ones was yours, Corey, right? Because
Yep.
you gave explicit, tangible advice on how to hire a VA, how to train them, how to manage them, and how to kind of own that entire operation. And so, like, for a lot of the people that attend that event and others, I feel like that's one of the big bottlenecks, right? Because most of the people that are attending these events are trying to get out of their 9-to-5. And so
Right.
again,
or they're grinding, or they're doing like 8 to 10 hours a day.
Yeah,
in their,
and then
like,
what's the
storage
big
unit.
bottleneck? It's going to be time. It's going to be you just don't have enough hands. You got to multiply yourself. And
Right.
so for the people that, and I'm sure you're going to release it, right? But for the people that did not listen to your talk, that's something that they should definitely check out, right? Because that can just another extension of yourself, even if it's not completely replicated, which it won't be, it could be massive, massive advantage.
The chat.
Yeah, and that'll be on my YouTube here very soon as well.
Were you wearing a better fit this time?
Oh yeah. Much
So
better
yeah,
fit.
for the audience, Corey went to, I believe it was Gap.
No.
No. TJ Maxx.
Nah, so
Maxx,
he had a
TJ
button-up
Maxx
shirt
right before
tucked
the
in.
top interview. Yeah. You
I
wore
was just trying to look.
You wore
No,
it again?
dude. No, we were talking about AMZ
first
United.
Good. All right.
I'm never gonna live that down, am I? I was just trying to look sharp for my first little presentation there.
Not,
Well,
Nothing wrong with that.
the thing is, the
Wholesale
button-up
sounds
shirt wasn't fitted. It was baggy. It
Right.
was like,
Right. We know.
Got the big body lanyard on. You know what I mean? He got shipped off to the conference by the CEO. Right now, he's getting arbitrage for 10x and a 4% 401k raised each year. Right? His wife's personal trainers. You know, like he's having a lot of fun.
It was good times.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Same presentation though at AMZ United as I gave at Miami Sellers. A couple of tweaks.
Good though at AMZ United for sure. Besides the fit, I mean, 10 out of 10 fit, 0 out of 10. But yeah, very
Well, yeah, as long as the content was good, that's all that matters.
Yeah, and the cool thing is though, you'll have the recording that you can repurpose to from the content side of things. As well. It was also cool. Like, I mean, unfortunately, it's really sad how invisible a lot of people are. You know what I mean? How you meet these people in person, and it's like, holy shit, like this person could crush if they had a following, they could do consulting, or this person's super technical. If they had an audience, they could make a software really easily, right? Or connecting people that live on the same street in Boca Raton, Florida, both of which would never have met each other if they didn't come to the event, and now they did because they
Miles,
could be on the internet regardless. But like,
speaking of being invisible, you and I have equity in the Corey Ganim brand, right? That was negotiated
Totally.
way back.
from the get-go.
I
We have
definitely always
royalties.
give you guys credit there.
We have royalties on all the sales.
But that's the thing. Like, you had the social proof where we're like, all right, fuck it, we'll do the episode. You know, when you asked.
No, he had no social proof. That was
Well, no, yeah, nothing.
But big Chris Potter, right? Or
Right.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, really, it's Chris Potter that
Yeah.
Chris Potter has the most equity.
Yeah, right. And-
True.
but we knew you were a big seller and such. And then you were like, yeah, I'm gonna do LinkedIn. No.
Well, I do both. What's wrong with that?
Well, no. But Twitter was obviously, substantially higher, considering that we're sitting here for the fourth time.
Yeah,
of
of course.
We hung out in person a couple times and such. So we got, Miami, I would say, is a great place to learn in general about Amazon. ASD being where you go to essentially like buy wholesale product and hang out, right?
Yeah.
Gamble a little bit, whatever. Right.
Great place to start wholesale for like first timers. That's where I did. It was like super easy to find distributors and place orders.
Yep. And then AMZ United, which is essentially the way I would kind of describe it would be like a hybrid of the two without the buying product part. So it was essentially like where you go to learn only about wholesale.
Yeah.
basically.
You'd be surprised. There were some suppliers at AMZ United. I met a couple of wholesalers and like distributors as well. So, and they're not there like with booths like looking to sell product, but they're there in the crowd where you kind of got to be like mingling and talking to people to like, oh, you're a wholesaler? Great. Like, nice to meet you, right? Let me get your contact information and let's talk. So there are a couple of those floating around. They're just more low key at AMZ United, at least.
That's what you wanted, though.
I had met a distributor in August, like the week or two before, and then he was literally like tapped me on the shoulder. He's like, "Hey, what's up, man?" At Amazon United. So that was pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty poppin'. And so that they announced new dates too. I was like low key a little worried they weren't gonna have it again because I like had a lot of fun with it honestly last time, and it's super clutch because it was in Jersey City or New York. I think it was Jersey
I
City.
think it was at the
It
Giants.
was in
Stadium, wasn't it?
Secaucus.
Which is
Yeah.
pretty much, yeah, exactly. And so that's like super accessible for anyone on the Eastern Seaboard. You know, a lot of people can drive to that and such. And I just in general, like it was a 1-day thing, so it was really easy. A lot of people didn't even need to stay overnight. You just drive up the morning of, leave the night of, right? Maybe they'll expand it this time. But yeah, that was in I think it's in very, very late August. So, you know, right around you know, I think Labor Day or whatever. They are doing that again, which is cool and such. But the key here, right, is that you do not need to spend a bunch of money and go fly or drive somewhere to meet Amazon sellers. You can do it for free tonight on Instagram, tonight on Twitter, tonight on Facebook groups. Like Warner has a Facebook group that's killing it. If you want to join a Facebook group of Amazon sellers, look that up, right? Look up Fields of Profit on Facebook, right? Like these people exist and you can access them really, really easily. And the key is you just have to stop hiding and start doing it. Like Sawyer, you were anonymous for years, right?
Yeah.
And had a presence. You knew the people you wanted to know. But I
Yep.
assume based on the amount of money you're making compared to what you used to make, it's exploded once you've been more public facing.
100%. Like
Yep.
it's just such a direct correlation with like everyone I know as well. It's not like it's like a one-off thing. Anyone who's putting their face out there and like staying consistent with that will be more successful long term over someone who's anonymous.
Wait,
And
so
what's the quote?
speaking of
There's
which,
like a. Oh,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. Oh, I was
I
gonna
was
say
gonna
there's a. There's a. All right, I'll shut up. But there's a Russell Brunson quote where it's, or maybe it's Russell Brunson. It was somebody. It's like,
Is this
you
what
post
you're interrupting me
content
for?
every. Huh?
This better be good.
If you post content every day for a whole year, you'll never have to worry about money again. Then I'll shut
Yeah,
up.
something like that. Exactly. Right. Or, you know, and if we're talking on an Amazon seller thing, fuck, I might have to copy that template. That's a nice template. Yeah. Like if you had friends that were killing it in the space, you would be a lot more successful with it. Right now, on a macro perspective, right? The people who make the most money on Amazon know the most Amazon sellers. They have the most Amazon seller conversation. Now, the people who I know, I don't really know many people in this capacity, or at least the people in my DMs who are complaining that it doesn't work, don't talk to any people who sell on Amazon. No Amazon sellers have ever heard their voice. No Amazon sellers have ever seen their face. There's obvious correlation there, right? In that, you know, Sawyer and I have been talking for years. We were doing Walmart stuff back in the day, Academy, 10%, you know, Legos, etc. Right? And we both were able to win a lot quicker and have a lot more fun because it's always been like,
Yep.
you know, I mean, it's essentially the kind of thing where like we're kind of competitors, obviously very good friends, and we were making money in the same ways. And we're all both able to work less and make more as a result of it because we're working together on this stuff. Right.
Yeah.
So it really is a, you know, a group project regardless. Like I know Garrett and Corey, what you guys are doing these days, more collaboration sellers over wholesale deals and such, which no one used to talk about. You know what I mean? And you want to make like the podcast announcement in regards to what y'all got going on recently with that and such? Because we haven't been doing a ton of episodes.
Yeah, Corey, it's all you.
Yeah, so I mean, we started a mastermind community about 6 months ago, and so it's 42 people deep right now. Sawyer's in it, Garrett's in it. Everybody in it is a 7 or 8 figure wholesale seller. And Garrett, for those of you that aren't aware, has recently pivoted to more of a distribution model. So he's going to be distributing, honestly, a large number of products exclusively to our mastermind community. We just placed an order for a full container of product that we're bringing in. Just last week, we placed that order. So if there's anybody out there that's a 7 or 8 figure wholesale seller that might be, you know, hiding under the covers, that doesn't know too many people, or if you are out there and you do know people, then DM Garrett, DM me, DM Sawyer. We'd love to see if you're a good fit to join us there.
Where can people follow you fools on socials?
Yeah, I'm at IAmDylanSawyer on all platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
I'm at Corey Ganim on YouTube and everywhere else except Twitter. I'm at Ganim Corey.
Boom. Y'all check out.
This is where we cut it before we lose
So
too
we
many
got
followers.
NC State, Gonzaga over Purdue, Houston over Duke, and Creighton over Tennessee. We'll see how those picks survive. You guys are also watching this on the day. Those games actually already happened last night when you guys are watching this. So y'all let me know how my
Let's be honest. We all know
you guys
UConn's
in the
going to
next
take the
one.
chip. We all know
Yeah.
UConn's going to take the chip.
Have a great night, everyone.